What's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Talking Figures. As always, I am Tony. Today, I have a great one. It's literally in his name. If you've been living under a rock and you haven't heard of this guy, then you can head over to his YouTube channel at Rocco the Great. He also has a TikTok at Rocco the Great. There, you'll find toy reviews as well as toy news and many other things. There's a litany of things on his channel. He also has an Instagram, the Rocco the Great art, right?
Rock of the Great Art, yeah.
Art,
There was
yeah.
a whole big
And,
thing with that. We could get into it
yeah.
later, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. And he also has a diorama channel, which I've learned a lot from, by the way. Dioramas by Rocco the Great, which, like I said, if you're looking to get into dioramas, it's a great place to start. He's a
Thanks, man.
positive, he's full of high energy. And today he's here to talk some figures with me, folks. Please welcome to the show, the one and only, the great one, Rocco the Great. What's up, bud?
First of all, I could never get an intro when I do a live stream. So one, I gotta just say, great intro. Not because
Oh,
you were saying nice things about me, but you hit that perfectly. And also thank you for the nice things you said. I appreciate that.
you're very, very welcome, man. I've been watching you from afar for a very long time. Like I said, I think I'm one of the many, many people that have probably thanked you for the old look under the shelf trick
Mm,
because, man, I found so many things because of that video, dude. Like for real,
yeah,
like straight up, man.
that
So, like
that
I said before
video,
we get started, I had to thank
yeah, yeah.
you, dude.
No, that video
What?
changed everything. Oh,
Well, like, I'm
oh,
gonna ask you. I'm gonna start right out of the box with this. Like, what made you do that? Did someone tell you about that, or was that just something you're like? Let me just check this real quick.
so yeah. So any people who um it's so crazy because we could say I was going to make a joke, but it's actually true. uh Back in our day collecting, there was a place called Toys R Us,
Oh
and
yeah,
there's young kids, there's like, there's a whole generation, because I'm on TikTok, as you said, and I just realized there's a whole 13-ish year old generation of just totally their own rules. Like
mm,
they don't care about dioramas, they don't care about accessories. They do the posing in front of
yeah,
their gray tile, and that's all they care about. And those videos hit. And it's like when I was coming up, I always credit ACBA with on Facebook was so big before even
hmm
YouTube channels were popping off. Instagram didn't exist, and Facebook groups were it. And I love toy photography. Like I love setting up the little show,
hell yeah,
the little dioramas and everything. So I was a big part of like over 10 years ago. I used to be on I'm off Facebook now because it's just trash, but
it's a mess.
um
Yeah,
it's really crazy. But so
yeah.
there was in that group, I was friends with a lot of people, and I would meet up with this guy George, and he was in the group, and he lived near me, so we would go to Toys R Us sometimes, and sometimes I'll have a figure he was looking for, and we would do a trade, and then we would go in and toy hunt. And he showed me one day. He goes, "Bro, did you know about this?" And I never even thought of it. And that's
Yeah.
why I believe people when they go, oh, it's fake or that's not real and all that stuff. Because I went to Toys R Us my whole life. I never thought to lift up the damn shelves. Now
For real.
Toys R Us had that top part where they actually did it opened up and they did hide overstock in there. So that part
Uh,
was actually known, and I did know about that. They had like this little flap. It opened up,
yeah.
and you would put like overstock.
But
So
yeah, okay.
once he showed me that, and why Toys R Us was great and why Target stinks now is Toys R Us used to the stuff would go down to a penny. So if you left something under there for long enough, you just could. I cleared out like a bunch of stuff once on his recommendation showing me. So, you used to get things for pennies because you hit they charged it out of the system or something. And if the register guy was cool enough, they would just let you get them for a penny. So
Wow,
I
that's sick.
learned then, but that's the thing. This is the thing. Like over 10 years ago, like around 2012 or ish, that's when I first learned about it. But for some reason, I was making, fast forward to now, like you said, I was doing diorama videos a few years ago, and I just said, let's do a toy hunt. I started filming, and if you remember in that video, my viral video, I don't even get the first find on camera because I was just looking under the shelf for,
Just so yeah, just to see.
I was just looking, and then I said,
Yeah,
"Holy crap! I know that's an old figure." And
yeah, yeah.
so I have it. Oh, I just put it away. It used to be in this room because that's my grail. I keep that. I had the black
Absolutely,
suit
yeah,
Spider-Man from the
yeah.
Red Hulk wave, early Hasbro, and I found that figure. and they sold it to me because they looked up Marvel Legends, and so they just gave it to me for $20 because they could have said no because it
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
obviously in the register. So I learned that a long time ago. I just happened to be like, let's film a toy hunt. I looked under the shelves, and it changed my whole life. It really changed my
Hell yeah.
actual whole life. It's crazy.
Well, dude, that's crazy how that works. Because I watched your video, and then, like, for the fuck of it, I go to the store, and while I'm there, I'm just like, yeah, I just watched that guy Rocco lift up a thing and find, like, just like figures that you would never even think would still be around, right? So just for the shits and gigs, I mean, at this point, I don't know what wave Marvel Legends was up to, but it was much further into the whole shtick with Hasbro. So I lift up the bottom shelf, and there, I swear to you, was the entire Deadpool line. Like, the whole
Oh,
thing was just sitting. I was like, "Oh shit!" It's just fucking. I was like, "This son of a bitch was right." I was like, I struck gold. It was crazy, dude.
dude, it was so crazy that first of all, people got mad at me. That's one thing. So my video went viral, and
Yeah,
people were mad because they said you blew up the spot. Like they were
yeah,
like, there were people who this is their job, to get stuff on sale, resell it, whatever. So I had people that were like thanking me. They said I found my grails, and then I had
yeah,
people being like, "You blew up the spot." And then I had people like, I say it in the video. I didn't make this up. I didn't make up that spot. My video just happened to be the most exposure. And then
yeah.
everyone, people tell me this, and I believe it's true. I don't watch other toy hunters because I do it. So people usually they don't understand that. It's like, I know what the stores look like because I'm the one filming
You
too.
always
So
going, yeah.
yeah, so and I heard from people that told me this, that everyone now started to do like right now. I don't know what they do now, but when that video went viral, everyone was doing under the shelf toy hunts, and everyone's thumbnails looked like mine, where you would be like, like looking at. So I thought that was cool that I made an impact in the toy community on accident. I wasn't even
Yeah,
trying, and I didn't. It's not even something I care about. Like I'm not doing YouTube to be noticed or to be famous or to be clout. I'm really doing it so I could write off my hobby. But
yeah.
it's so weird that it kind of just took off, and it's just a freaking blessing, dude. It's really wild stuff.
Buddy, you never know what's gonna hit. Like, you never know. It's just one day you put up a video thinking, I'm just throwing this up, and then you just come back to me, you're like, what the fuck?
That video stunk at the beginning. That video bombed. And that's the
Yeah.
funny thing. I put it up, and then I had like I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks after that,
Mhm.
then it took off. So
Yeah.
I didn't even go like, "Oh, this one's gonna be fire, boys. Like we're buying a new house." And it was just like that that's weird. And I've been on YouTube since YouTube started, and I used to do vlog channel, I did an art channel, I did like everything. So the fact that after maybe 20 something years, it just now took off, that's what shows people like it. If you never quit, then eventually you'll,
There's
you
always a
know,
tipping point. There's always
yeah,
a
I
tipping
think
point as
so.
long as you fill the cup, man. A lot of people
Yeah.
tend to think that YouTube is an easy way, but they don't realize that you gotta put a lot of goddamn work in. Because when
Oh my God.
see, I got in pretty much at the same time when it first started.
Mhm,
But me, I was strictly pro wrestling, so it was always
mhm.
just, wrestling matches. I, like, ran a wrestling company, so a lot of it was just my company itself, just throwing on matches and shit like that, and that never took. No one ever cared. It was just one of, like, those
Yeah.
low tier sits. I was like, all right, whatever. You just kind of go along, and then I get into pro wrestling production, so I start
Mhm.
putting up, better quality matches and things of that nature. And one day, I'm sitting at my house, and my phone just starts. It almost died because of how many notifications it was getting. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I looked down at my phone, and it was some random match that I just put up thinking, "Ooh, nobody's gonna watch this shit." But here it is. And it
Mhm.
got, when I tell you, millions,
Yeah. Oh,
millions of
I
views.
never
I
had
just,
that yet, so I don't know what that's like. How is it? It's wild,
dude,
right?
it's fucking crazy. Like, just to see, like, you check one afternoon. It was one afternoon I just checked. I had the,
Mm,
regular numbers, just whatever. Okay. I just went about my day. Then all of a sudden, like, my phone, because I still had notifications on at that point,
mm.
because I'm,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not thinking.
I haven't had notifications on in a long time. It's wild. It's 2
Yeah.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, so I turned it off. I mean, but then I'm just like, "Whatever," and it
So
just started
were
bring,
you
bring, bring. I'm like,
monetized?
at that point, no. This thing literally
Ah,
threw us right over the threshold. It threw us out, I mean,
well, so then
within a
okay,
matter.
so it did help you,
Oh, yeah.
because
Oh, yeah.
okay,
Because we were
okay.
we were, like, on the cusp, but we weren't
Mhm.
there just yet. Then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, within, I swear to you, hours, we were there
Oh,
with the
that's
numbers, the
crazy.
saw it was crazy, man. I was like, "Holy," and then let me tell you something. A lot of people, like, I've heard a lot of people talk numbers and shit, but until you
Mhm.
hit something like that and you
Yeah.
see what you get from a video that big, I
Yeah.
see why people chase. Like, I see why people want them, because when you see that number, you're like, "Holy shit." For
Yeah,
real.
and I think people don't understand that. So, like, some people, like, why I actually liked, what is it, the Mega Powers? Your
Yeah,
friends,
yeah, yeah. Yojo Jerk.
they they understood where I'm coming from. They understood what
Yeah.
I'm doing, and it's like I come across people that are just like they don't get it what I'm doing,
Mhm.
and it's like I'm playing the game of social media. I know
Mm.
what works because I look at other. The toy community is so little. It's so
Yeah, it
small,
is.
and
Yeah.
the ceiling is so small. That's why I really dioramas, there's really no growth unless you're doing miniature stuff that's not toy related. So
Mhm.
that was just I kind of hit my plateau, and there was I have over 200 videos. I can't say more about dioramas, and naturally I just kind of grew out of that. And thankfully, one of my toy hunts hit because I could toy hunt all day. You could always do a new store or new thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, and it's like oh, I forgot where I was going. I had a path I was going. Um,
I assume you
but
were
yeah,
leading to try to get it monetized, and that's what it was.
oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
a grind, dude. Yeah.
So once your videos hit and you see that you could make some money, then
Yeah.
most videos make nothing, right? I can have a good video and it makes like $5, $10
Mhm.
maybe if I'm lucky, and people don't understand that. And how much time did you put into it? But then TikTok, believe it or not, TikTok is really good, and my TikTok just started taking off. I had a viral video, and it's better than almost all my YouTube videos for 2 months. So,
Wow, really?
I'm really on TikTok right now, but you have to really kinda hit it, and,
Okay.
you never know, and I think, and I hate to say this, I know why media is so broken right now. Race baiting is always works. So, you ever watch the news, they're always trying to get
Oh,
people to
yeah.
race fight. I did a video about Hasbro's racist because, they have a
I saw
Spanish
that.
character that doesn't look Spanish, and
Yeah.
that video is doing great. And I did this other one that Hasbro sexist because the characters never get the articulation of the male characters, right? And I actually believe that. Like Hasbro doesn't give the girl characters. They do sometimes, right? Like, why is that Black Widow so sought after? Why is that
Yeah,
new Jean
yeah.
Grey sought after? Because you could actually play with it. Like a
Mhm.
lot of these girl characters is like, what are you doing with? You're just gonna, I mean, not all of them. Like Gwen Stacy's not doing Spider-Man poses, but I mean,
The
she
ones
is.
that
Oh,
should pose. I know what you're
technically
talking about.
she's Gwenpool. Yeah, I know. Some guy's gonna, in Earth 879, she's actually a spider. Okay, all right. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. When it comes to, like, posability, I do notice that they tend to lack with the female figures.
Yeah,
That I've noticed that they're starting to correct it. Like you said, they're starting, like, well, that's why
sometimes, yeah.
some of these figures now are starting to get sought out, like Warbird,
Yeah, like
like you said, Black
why do I
Widow,
want her? Because it looks
because
like
you
a fun figure, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
no, yeah, I see what you mean. But well, before we get into all that, let's get into
yeah,
the meat and potatoes of this whole thing, which is
yeah,
collecting. And
yeah.
I start my question here, which is, when did you start collecting, and what was the toy line that got you into collecting?
Cool. I actually know this. So, I what got me into collecting was it was weird because growing up, I was never really a nerd. I
Yeah.
talk about this. Like I never like, some people like I read comics and the kids in school bullied me for it and all that stuff. I was in the music scene big. Like I would go to shows, I was into
Okay.
girls and all that kind of stuff. Then I met my wife around right after college. Like I dropped out of college. I met my wife, and then you kind of settle down a little bit, and
Yeah.
I started going towards my childhood. Like I started reverting to my childhood. And when I was 18, I still remember on my birthday, I went to the bank and I opened up a bank account for an eBay store, so I could start buying stuff on eBay. And I went and bought Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z toys, and like
Okay.
all kinds of, but not in a toy collecting sense. Like it was just like, oh, I remember, I used to
Hmm.
like Pokemon when I was a kid. Oh, I loved Dragon Ball Z when I was like 12. So it wasn't collecting. I just bought a few figures and it was like that. And then it wasn't till fast forward to the Dark Knight where
Oh, okay.
I had these friends in high school that my friend was friends with this kid and they were nerds, right? I guess. I loved Batman because I grew up on Batman the animated series and stuff like that, and the Tim
Right.
Burton movies. But I didn't know like comics. I didn't know there were action
Yeah.
figures. I didn't know like there was a people like that stuff. I didn't know, and so this kid Billy and John, they said, "Come with us. We're gonna go on a toy hunt." 2008. The Batman movies coming out soon. Everyone's in that hype. And I said, okay, I'll come with them. I still remember my first toy hunt. We went to New Jersey because I was in Staten Island at the time. So we drove over to the bridge. We go to New Jersey, and then they explained there's like, okay, the first line that I was collecting as a toy collector was the Movie Masters line from Mattel. And they
Okay.
taught me about the chase figures. They're like, oh, there's a scarecrow that this scarecrow's the chase figure because he doesn't have like a white shirt. He has like a black shirt or something like that. So they did all that
Uh,
explaining to me, and then that was it. And then I remember like going to Kmart with my mom, and like I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy this. I bought the Joker Thug. That was my first official toy I bought, I think, as a toy collector. And then it went on
wow.
from there. And then I learned about it. And then the the DC Universe Classics at the
I remember
time
that.
were
Yeah.
really, and obviously Marvel Legends, the Toy Biz ones were
Toy
really,
Biz. Okay.
those were like that was like big. And then the toy community at the time, because there weren't so many figures, everyone was a Marvel Legends collector. Like I believe that started the toy collector for adults, like the adult
I believe that
community.
too. Yeah, I believe that too because whenever I talk to guys on this show about things, they always, without fail, bring up the Toy Biz Marvel Legends line because they were like, "That's the first time I saw figures that could articulate that way, and that were
Yeah,
like representations of the comic book characters that they loved, or a movie if they saw a movie that they like and they see the toy." But I do believe that because it's either that or sometimes when they go back a little further, it's the Star Wars when they did that Power of the
oh,
Force, when they tried to bring that shit back, it's usually right around those two lines. I noticed always
yeah,
get
I
people
could
going.
see that. I could see that. Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
Toy Biz though, with the articulation
yeah,
was
yeah.
I don't think anyone's done it before that. So,
No,
what
yeah,
was
no, that was.
think the landscape of like action figures without the Toy Biz early days? It's pretty interesting.
It'll probably still be 5 points of articulation.
Yeah, like McFarlane might have took over the world with statues.
I know it's ridiculous, dude. Because I remember when I was coming up, and I was, I obviously get a little older, to get out of action figures. Go,
Yeah.
once I discovered that there was actual real life superheroes that told you to say your prayers and eat your vitamins, right?
Hmm.
And once I started to discover pro wrestling, I was all in on pro wrestling, comic books and like toys, and kind of, if it falls to the wayside because you start to get
Hmm.
older, you start to get into sports, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I always used to tell people like, well, if they would just make toys like cooler, I
Yeah.
might start collecting again. And I always said that, like, but they made them a little cooler. I started, and then I saw the Toy Biz figures, and I was like,
Hmm.
these are cool, but I don't really like the ball joints. I don't like
Hmm.
the way like some of them look. Some of them look a little wonky to me. And
Yeah, they
so
were
I
very
always,
lanky. Hmm.
yeah, yes. So I just never mind. They'll never make them the way I want. And then finally, you fast forward. I think it was 2018. I see the X-Men Juggernaut wave, and I see
Hmm.
Wolverine because he's my favorite character, and I'm just like, oh, they finally figured it out. And then that's kind of to me, it was about articulation too. Like I was the same
Hmm.
way. Like even as a kid, I hated the fact that they just did this.
Yeah.
I was like,
I mean, if you
people don't
can't
move
play
that
with
way.
them, what's the point, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I try to collect statues, I try to collect like other things or even out of scale, but if I can't maybe one day do a diorama or a toy photography of it, I just want to get rid of it.
dude, I'm
Even
the
though
same
most of
way.
the times, like when are we actually playing with them, until
Yeah. Dude,
so
I'm the
yeah,
same exact way. When they come, that was the fun thing I told my friend. My friend's one of those guys. He puts it on the shelf. That's it. It just sits on the shelf. And to
yeah.
me, I used to tell him like, "You spent money on that thing. Like,
Mm.
play with it. Like, get your money's
Yeah.
worth. Like, do
Yeah.
something. So when I started to like collect, I went down rabbit holes. I was like, what can
Yeah.
I do with these things to kind of get my money's worth? And that's how I found ACBA too. I was like, oh
Mhm.
shit, wait, this is a thing. You can take pictures with them. So I
Yeah.
was just like, oh shit. So I started taking pictures with them. And then as you go down that road, you start to think to yourself, how do I kick this up a notch? And
Yeah.
that's how I fell into dio structure and the diorama building
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, okay. So that's how this works, And then you just go
Mhm.
further down the rabbit hole, and
Well,
now
because
I'm,
it gives you a reason to play with your
yeah.
figures, right? You're like, well, I'm making this alleyway diorama. I need a Daredevil, and then it's like, oh, well, I need, who's Daredevil gonna fight? Like, oh, I need a bunch of ninja figures. Like
Yeah.
I need more. Well, I only have
Yeah.
what do I have? Two. I need three. Maybe I need four. You know what I mean?
Dude, that
Like
happens
even
every
today,
time.
I was like, what can I do? I want an army builder.
Mhm.
What can I army build right now? And then I did a TikTok today of I found a defunct Kickstarter of a toy company that
Yeah, I
never
saw that
fulfilled, and I
video.
was like, yeah,
Dude,
yeah. It's some guy made like some guy in 2016ish 17 he made a crowd fund for a skeleton. So that the
okay.
one I was talking about wasn't even he got a funded one, never fulfilled, made another Kickstarter. That second one made almost 100 grand and it was going to be SWAT characters, never fulfilled. And people are still, hoping one day he'll fulfill. And he just deleted all the stuff because I was looking up army builders on Google, and
Yeah.
that feature came out. I said, "Oh yeah, I remember," because I remember when that was coming out. But at the time, I didn't trust Kickstarter, and I was glad I didn't because it was
Yeah.
so new. People weren't really doing it, and I'm glad I didn't because I was talking to people today that were like, "Thank you for making a video of this. I'm still out $500 and stuff like this." So. And then I'm gonna look into it. There's more. So people were giving me other Kickstarters that got
That
scammed.
fucked.
So
Did you get the one about the Airwolf helicopter?
oh no.
Did they send you that one? I don't know his name. You got to find it. I don't know his name, but there was a guy who was going to fund like the Airwolf helicopter. I think at a 118 scale. It wasn't 112. I'm
Okay.
not sure. I could be wrong. But he did the same thing. Took everybody's money and then it just went away. And then everybody's like, "What the fuck? Where's our helicopter and shit?" Yeah, I that was one of the reasons why same thing. I stay away from the
Yeah.
crowdfunding things unless it's like a company like, I mean, I hate to say this, but like Hasbro, where at least I know the thing
Yeah,
is
they're not
coming.
gonna run away. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So to me, that's the only time I'll like kind of jump off those crowdfunding things. But if it's some
Yeah.
like company that I just don't know, like that Fresh Monkey, if you want an army builder, I don't know if you heard about Fresh Monkey Fiction, the Monster Force figures.
I've heard about that name, but I probably won't associate it unless I see a picture. What were they making?
They're making like a Dracula and like a Van Helsing figure, but they're making like these
Oh, okay.
soldiers that you could army build with. So
Oh,
they're
like are
they're
they World War II soldiers?
something like that. Yeah, there's one that's like
Okay.
that, but then they have like a SWAT team one with cool looking
Oh,
masks. So they have
really?
like a
Let me
bunch, yeah, on Big Bad Toys. If you look up Fresh Monkey Fiction Monster Force, you'll see them. I bought a couple because I'm the same way. Dude, I want to army build, and I'm trying to find military esque looking dudes to
Oh,
fill out my
okay.
armies.
So I've seen this. I've seen this
Yeah.
before. And now this person's they're
Well,
trustworthy. This
they're through Big Bad Toys, so they're like exclusively through Big Bad Toy Store. So
hmm.
I trust Big Bad Toy Store because
Okay.
I've bought shit from them enough
Yeah,
now
yeah.
to. So I pre-ordered uh Van Helsing
Mm-hmm.
and Dracula and a couple of those like SWAT looking guys because
Hmm.
before I jump into a new action figure
You
line,
want to
because
get
what's
a
happening,
sense of it first.
yeah, I just want to just get a couple guys, figure it out, see if I like what I see.
Hmm.
Because I'm the same way, man. It needs to articulate because I'm big into photography. I went to film
Hmm.
school, so I'm into stop motion and things like that. So when I
Yeah.
buy a figure, it needs to articulate to a certain level where I can have any kind of, at least any pose that I can imagine.
I love your Punisher, not Punisher, Kingpin diorama. That was one that I had
Thank you.
on my mind. Like I wanted to do something like that, and yours looked like great. It was like that's
Oh, thank
what
you.
it should look like. The dead
Yeah.
I keep saying Kingpin, damn it. Kingpin's like New York City flat, like really cool office building.
Yeah.
You really killed that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. What happened was I I think big when it comes to dioramas. So I'm like one of those
Mhm,
guys where it's like, well, I know you get the 2x2 square from Lowe's, Home Depot,
mhm.
but man, I think massive because I like the extreme wide shots, man. And when it comes to
Yeah,
like
yeah,
filmmaking and shit, I like those establishing shots. So I turn to like I make big dioramas. So
yeah, yeah.
I have to have like I want that scale so that when I
Dude,
shoot
I
it,
was like that. I was
yeah,
doing that, and then, I realized, like, they took up my garage, and now I try to
yeah,
do as small as possible.
yeah,
Like, my last one was, like, basically, like, a DTOF dioramas are where I'm
yeah,
at right now. I was like, that's I have a few. I have a castle. I have, like, a
nice.
city. I have a whole city block, like, a it's up to here. Where am I putting that? I can't even get it
Yeah,
in pictures. Like, it's a
yeah,
city building that a cat could live in. And I'm like, "What am I
yeah.
doing with this? It's ridiculous." So I'm
Dude, I'm
I'm
crazy.
going this way. I'm trying to make them smaller now. But yeah, I know that feeling,
Yeah.
and it came out. You did a killer job on that, and it
Thank
was
you,
like,
man. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. Well, because
it's
you know what is I don't know about you, but for me, like
Mhm.
when I started the channel, it was more just about being creative. Like I just wanted to
Yeah,
be creative. I'm not trying to, the monetization thing is great. I started a channel membership. Thank God, and
mhm,
people sign it. I appreciate everybody for that. But like, I started this because I just have a lot of shit in my head that I
mhm.
just want to get out. And when I got into
A
film
creative
school,
outlet.
exactly. And when I got into
Yeah,
film school, I realized real quick that it's when the film industry itself. It's not about what you know; it's about who you know. So I
yes.
quickly just like, yo, fuck this. And then when I got into action figures and action figure
Mhm,
photography, I started to realize that like there's a lot more you can do than just photography. So that's when I
yeah.
discovered stop motion, and then obviously the play motion. I don't know if you heard of that yet, but the play motion stuff.
What's play
And to me,
motion?
play motion is basically exactly what it sounds like, but it has a stop motion element to it, at least in my perspective. But like you'll see people's hands in the shot sometimes because they'll just maneuver the figure.
Okay, I've
But
seen okay, so that's yeah, basically TikTok. It's what I see that a lot on TikTok.
yeah, things are doing yeah. So it's becoming like a thing now. But if
Mhm,
when done right, I will, and I'll say this: I'm not sticking up because I've done one myself, so I'm not
mhm.
making excuses. But
Yeah.
I will say, if done right and it's written correctly and it has music, sound effects, and it's shot correctly, you tend to forget the hand is there unless you're
Well,
really a
if you're
pain in the
telling
ass.
the story is the important part, right? So if
Thank
your
you.
story
Yes.
is not
Yes.
good, then
Yeah.
you're gonna see the hand, right? Like I
Yes.
always tell like I always say with the movie, if I'm entertained, I don't see the loophole. I don't see
Mm.
this. I don't see that because when a movie sucks, then you start picking it apart and you go, "Well, that sucked and that sucked." But when you're entertained, you're just like, yeah, like Wolverine, right? He pulls his helmet out of his neck. Like it makes no sense, but I'm like in the theater I was like, "Yeah!" I loved it because it was just cool. Like I don't care. It doesn't He's a guy with claws. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to make sense. But if the
Yeah.
movie sucked, you would be like, "Oh, he pulls it out of his what a dumb come on,
Yeah.
Marvel." So
I get it from I tell people it's a wrestling thing. You just got to suspend your disbelief. So just
yes,
see
yes.
things that aren't like, they might be there, but just pretend it's not there and kind of see the story. Like I listen. I took the time to write it. I made all
Mhm,
the sets. I
mhm.
literally did everything. I did all the voice acting, most of it. I got a lot of great people who contributed to it. But like when they saw it back, nobody I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. I got a few complaints about the hands and shit like that, but it's like because you don't get this genre of
There's
art. I guess the best way.
always gonna be
Yeah,
someone saying something. You can't,
yeah, yeah,
people criticize the Mona Lisa. People say they don't like Kubrick. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
come on.
Everybody's got their own thing. If you're not into
Yeah.
it, you're not into it. But I said this long-winded thing to bring you back to this point, which is the bigger the diorama for me, the
Mhm.
cooler the scope when you film. So like when I'm
Oh, for sure.
shooting for
Depth
play
is
motion
everything.
stuff,
When you
yeah,
do
so,
film, depth
yeah,
is everything.
yeah,
You can tell when that's why new movies suck because they're either done on that stupid small set
screen,
and
yeah,
I always go, why was Alien 1 amazing? It is real. They built the freaking Nostromo. The guy
yeah,
is in the suit. Like it's a real movie. Nowadays, everything's CGI and things that
mm,
aren't CGI are this big and it feels like it. You could see the scope of everything is small. That's why, I love watching old stuff. The depth. Why do I like Kubrick? His films are amazing. Like you can't watch 2001. You couldn't even think about doing that now. He built like that whole space station ring that they
Yeah.
walk on. It's actually real. Like they built that thing and it spins and they filmed inside of it. It's just amazing. And it matters. I mean, not to
Yeah.
most people, but to other people that are creative, they can see it.
Yeah, when it comes to like, oh, it's like I'm very, and I always say this when I explain my pictures and stuff. I'm very practical. I like to
Yeah, I
have
like
practical lighting. I like to have practical like,
that.
because to me that's what makes the picture. That's when you look at it and you have to do a double take. You're like, oh shit,
Yeah,
what is that? A costume or some shit? Like that looks legit. Because when everything is hit perfectly, background is correct. You got a little bit of the details. You got the perfect lighting. You got the perfect action figure in the perfect position and the perfect pose to accentuate his character. You immediately just go, I don't care that it's a toy. That's a
yeah,
great shot. You know, like that.
yeah.
That's to me one of the best things about action figure photography. And I want to ask you, when you started to see action figure photography, did you pursue photography as like a hobby, or was it something that you were always into and you wanted to do?
So I was always like filming, like me and my friends when we were younger, we used to do jackass stuff. I was always
Okay.
making movies and we were doing, just crazy stuff always. And that's why YouTube appealed to me because it was like,
Yeah.
oh, let's make skits. Like everyone our age, or older, not the young kids don't understand. They probably don't even know what skits are, but you used to just get your buddies together and just kind of wing it and we were Toy Gaines was showing his skits on their show the other day, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it was interesting seeing that because it's like I feel like a lot of us creative people or just people with hanging out with your boys, you did silly things like that. We were all doing
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Like I don't think kids have an appreciation. I know for a fact, just from being on YouTube now, nobody gets sarcasm. Like, I
None.
have young
No.
kids that are like, "You said skibbity toilet, Riz," and I was like, "Yeah, I was literally mocking it. Like, I was being over the top, ridiculous on
Yeah. Being a
purpose."
silly goose. Yeah.
Yeah, and it get like, and I realized like, oh no, like this newer generation is very literal. That's why I believe they get offended at everything because they might think, oh, that guy said that thing. He's serious. He's not making a joke.
Mhm.
Like, oh, that guy really hates cheese or whatever. So I've noticed now that people take everything very literal,
Literal.
and
Yeah.
and it's like you couldn't even do a skit now because someone would be like, "That's fake. That didn't really just happen." And it's like, oh my god, what are we doing here?
They
So
don't, you know why though? I tend to think that they don't know how because of the text messaging era. Because people text so much, you're reading everything, so you don't know how to take it. So when someone's
maybe,
in
yeah,
person and they're sarcastic and they're being a personality or whatever, you don't know how to take it because for years all you do is look at this thing and
yeah, I
read
think
people's responses.
I think you're onto something. Yeah, like
Yeah,
we had to like we were talking to people in person, and you saw their
yeah,
you caught things right. Like so, if someone's gesture, you could there were subtle nuances and everything, and I think there might be something to that. Like I mean, just like look at people that like think even speaking of wrestling, like people think wrestlers are real. Like
yeah,
like they're playing people think I see on Twitter sometimes because I look on Twitter for content to make TikToks and stuff. Like
yeah,
people think so they tried I remember recently they tried canceling an actor because of he played a bad guy in a role. Like they serious like people were serious, not like a joke. They were trying to cancel him because he said something in a movie that was like or like just the way his character was acting or
yeah.
something. I was like, oh my! He had to come
Jesus
out and
Christ.
say, "I am not that person," and like this is just a role I was playing. I don't, and I was like, oh, we're cooked. But
We're we're in the
also,
we're in the
you know,
we're in the dark times now, brother. Like it's
yeah,
crazy. Like where like I mean, listen, I come from an old school era of wrestling where it was,
it was
you know,
rough. It was bad.
yeah,
Yeah, like
you know,
yeah. I know. Like and it's just interesting. It's
yeah,
interesting for
yeah, it
sure.
definitely is. It
Yeah.
definitely is to see because it's to see where we're going. Like I noticed this too, like because I have a couple nephews. I have five nephews, two of which live with me, and
Hmm.
the oldest one, he's going to be 10. Um, he's like that. You can't be no sarcasm. Nothing goes over it. Like he does everything goes over
Yeah.
his head. He doesn't
Yeah.
understand anything, and it's just like I know he's 10, but even like that at that age, like I
I don't know.
had
When
kind of a.
when we were 10, I'm pretty sure I was in Manhattan by myself with my friends at 10 years
That's what
old.
I'm saying. Like
Right.
I'm joking with
Yeah,
people. I have like a sense of humor at 10. Like I
yeah,
know I can take people's
yeah.
tone and shit like that. So
I don't know. Yeah,
it's just
I don't
crazy
know.
to
I guess
see.
everything's different, right? Well, they live on the
It is.
computer, so they don't really have
Yeah.
to be social. So,
Yeah.
but
That's
it's
literally
good
it
for me
too.
because when I troll people, everyone falls for it. It's so easy. Like I know this TikTok's going to be a hit because I
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
count on people to be, the
Oh, yeah.
what we think they are now. So I know
Yeah.
if I mispronounce something, I go, all right, that's going to be good. That's going to get interaction. If I sometimes I remember one of the popular ones was I called Cobra Commander Snake Eyes, and I was like that. Ooh, sometimes I can't even get it out because like I'm like saying something and I'll have to cut it because like I want to like laugh or something,
Yeah.
and those are great, like
Buddy, the
um
one thing I've learned about the GI Joe community in the recent months is they take their figures seriously.
bro. I just,
Yeah.
this is a new thing. If people know me, they probably heard this already, but your channel, hopefully some new people see me. And I just got into Joe's very like this month,
Yeah. I
and
saw that.
I
Yeah.
I peeked into the community and I ran away really quick. And I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna stick to like digging these figures because the GI Joe people are crazy. Like
Well,
the crazy
it,
ones, they're really good
yeah.
ones, but then
Yeah.
I've I saw some like toxic stuff, and I was just like, all
Hmm.
right, I'm out of here. I
Yeah.
don't want any of this.
I saw some. I mean, I've met some great dudes so far from there, and
Mhm.
like plenty of great dudes. There's a lot of great dudes, and
Yeah,
of
I'm
course, you have
sure.
every bunch has a couple bad apples, obviously,
The
right?
craziest ones are
And
the
that,
loudest, right?
yeah. So it's like whatever, but here's the thing too, because like when I got into GI Joe, I don't like the only thing I remember from the cartoon is the theme song
Yeah.
and some of the characters, and all I remember was GI Joe having a real hard on for ninjas. Ninjas were
Yeah,
all over
yeah.
GI Joe,
Always
right?
cool ninja stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Army men and ninja. You don't need much more
the
than that, right? As
yeah,
a boy,
yeah.
you know?
So when
Yeah.
I was doing the shooting, when I was like, photography and shit, I was just like, the superheroes need mercenaries to beat up. And that
Hmm.
line was just coming out. So I'm just like, huh, all right, military guys, mercenaries, this might work.
Yeah.
I go, I pick up one figure, I like it. I immediately start buying all of them. I just jumped right off the line because it was Gung Ho was the guy I
You
bought, and I was
really
just like,
feel like you really that's true. Like, don't get into if you're watching this right now, you like,
"Mm,
maybe I should get into. You don't just buy one. It's literal crack. I bought how
yeah,
many do I have? I had 0 in the beginning of the month. I have maybe 40 now. Like, and I'm
yeah,
not even joking.
yeah, yeah."
It's the quickest line I've ever collected, I think.
Yeah. My buddy, who does never collects toys, came over here and was huge into GI Joe when he was a kid. So he come
Well,
over and I
there you
have a
go.
couple on the shelf over here, and he looks up at me and he goes, "Are these GI Joes?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "You got to see, they even made the his tank. They got all this shit now." He goes, "What?" I go, "Yeah, man." I was like, "It's crazy what the fuck's going on with toys, right?" He goes home, literally goes home
Mhm.
from my house. 2 days later, has now they told me, he's like, I got like 40 guys already. I bought two his tanks on
Yeah.
eBay. I'm like, Jesus Christ. It's like literally like there's no small flame that kind of burst. It's just like a
Yeah.
literally
Oh, let me get
gasoline.
one. I'll get 1 or
Yeah.
2. Maybe I'll get a Snake Eyes. Never. It's like, well, you got Snake Eyes, then you need Storm Shadow. Well, you got Storm
Yeah.
Shadow, you need Cobra Commander. And then I have the freaking Pimp. I have Pimp
Destro.
Destro. Like, you know what I mean? I'm already in the deep cuts,
Yeah.
so I'm enjoying. You know what's cool too was, um, so many people that follow me were so happy that I found people that like watch my videos and stuff that love
Yeah.
GI
Yeah.
Joe. They were so happy that I got into it that people were like, "Dude, I'm gonna send you a bunch of them." I'm like, "Listen, I'm never gonna say no to someone sending me toys."
Hell yeah.
So I
No,
was
yeah.
just like, "All right," and a bunch of people were like, "Cause," and that's really cool because it's like, say you watch somebody that you like, they're gonna get into a thing that you love. It's like you get
Yeah.
to share that, and people were like, "Oh, I love your GI Joe content," like because I made one video,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I'm gonna make any more. But it's just I'm digging it. I'm just right now, and I'm sure I don't know if you do this, but you go through lulls with collecting. And
Big time.
now that I have a YouTube channel, I really like can't take off. Like I have to like,
Mm.
sometimes I'll be like, people are asking for a figure, so I'll do a review or whatever. But right now, like the last few months or so, I have been really having a great time, like with the GI Joes, and then with the Marvel Legends. Like the new Deadpool movie kind of got my hype back up. So I took out
Yeah.
my bin the other day. I have the bin right there. I went into storage. I got my Marvel Legends bin. So I got on my desk. I just got all my like Marvel guys just out.
Oh yeah.
and I'm right now I'm just in bliss. Like I'm just really having a great time. I'm enjoying toys. Like before I try to make a little time every day to just kind of pose them off and just like, like
Gotta just
put my,
check out.
yeah, yeah, and just like before I go to bed, just like kind of fiddle around with some and be, and I'm just having a really good time. So
Oh yeah.
I've just been kind of like in that piece right now, and
Hell
also
yeah, dude.
buying too much stuff.
Buddy, the wallet has paid dearly this year for me too. But trust me, I did
Yeah,
notice one thing about your recent video that you just posted
yeah,
about the
which
Deadpool
one?
figures,
Okay,
the
yeah, yeah,
Deadpool, and that is you
yeah.
have Gambit in a soft goods jacket.
Oh, this one.
Now, how did you do that? Because I'm trying to do
So
that currently.
okay, so you're gonna get this is a teaser because I just filmed another video today. I filmed
Okay.
this morning. I filmed about 4 TikToks and maybe 4 videos as well
Jeez,
today.
yeah,
I like
always working.
I really never stop. Now, even
Yeah.
when I work out, I film my news TikToks on my treadmill. So I'm literally and while I'm in bed going to bed, I'm on my Macari sharing out offers to people and making sales. So
Oh yeah.
I literally never stop working. But
Yeah.
this is the Toy Biz Gambit jacket. So you got to go
Okay.
track one down from the old Toy Biz days. And then this is the original Legends Gambit. And then right now, my video coming out, you'll see soon. This is the head that came on this body, but they have a really nice updated with the face printing tech.
Yeah.
So this is my now. Oh, and I did the arm swap. So under the original has that plastic hard jacket and then those
Yeah. It's
single
annoying.
pointed arms.
Yeah.
You get the Brother Voodoo figure. They're really cheap. You could get them on eBay for like $3. Toys R Us
Fuck
used to
yeah.
give them away. I have like 17. So look, hold on, let me show you. I think I talk about this in my new video, but you could do the full arm swap. Like some people did the full arm swap and you do the
Yeah.
torso pack and it looks great, but he's not going to have his jacket off. So you just put the double jointed elbow right on
Perfect.
that
Oh
and it's
shit. Okay.
perfect and it's nice and tight. And then
Yeah.
you track down a Toy Biz Gambit. You get the
Jacket. I
cloth
have one.
goods. Oh, okay, perfect. So then
Yeah.
you're set. You're set
Yeah,
now.
because basically what I did right now is I'm a huge fan of Wolverine and the X-Men, that cartoon from like 2003. And in that
Okay.
cartoon, Cyclops had a trench coat kind of similar to Gambit. So I threw
Mm.
that coat on that Cyclops, and I already have a couple of like I'm already looking at some wired coats on eBay for Gambit. But I was just trying to figure out: do I have to pull the torso apart to change the shoulders, or couldn't I do what you just showed me and just
Yeah, because he just
pop
has
them
a normal shoulder joint with that
joint? Yeah,
like the Brother Voodoo arms pop perfectly on.
that's a
Like
good one.
they're not even like sometimes you got
Okay.
to fudge it. Like
Yeah,
you put electrical tape or whatever. That is and then I just did the head swap on that 3-pack. I bought this 3-pack just for the Gambit head of
yeah.
this Psylocke, whatever. And I actually like the other Gambit head better on this one because it was
Does yeah,
like
looks good.
this one's oversized, but on this figure, but then when you put it with the jacket, it looks normal. And then
Yeah.
I don't know, I just like it. So, I don't even have to have like a crappy one because I did a swap. So I recommend this. But the full video is coming out soon, so
Hell
I'll
yeah,
go
dude.
in depth with everything. Yeah.
That's great, dude. Yeah, one thing I always say is, especially with that particular Gambit, is if you would just put a soft goods coat on that Gambit, that could be a definitive Gambit. You don't need an expensive Mafex Gambit because that one will suffice just fine.
I looked at the Mafex Gambit. I almost bought it because thankfully at the end of all my videos, I pump my Macari link.
Yeah.
Macari's pretty great because it's I wish I was I brought them a lot of business. One day they should sponsor me. But Macari has this referral system that if you sign up with my code, we could both get up to $50 in credit, right? So I
Uh,
always pump that at the end of my videos and people sign up, right? And even if because so like there's tiers. Like if you do one thing, you get the $10. Then if they sell like a certain amount, you get the rest. And then if they buy a certain amount, then you get the full 50. So it's cool because it's not like just 50 or nothing. You could like get a
yeah.
few. So even if people just to sign up in the $10, $10, that's how I really fund the channel because, you know, I can't, I buy figure arts. They're almost $100 each figure now.
Yeah.
It's
They're
really
expensive.
effing, it's ridiculous.
Hmm.
Like, I didn't even understand. I think that's why GI Joes are so fun too, because you feel like you're getting. You could buy like 5 GI Joe, and you feel like you're not breaking the bank. I buy
Thank
one
yeah,
figure. Just I'm mad. I could afford it. I have a channel. It's I use it for the channel review, whatever, and I still get mad. I'm like, this shouldn't cost this much. It's ridiculous.
yeah,
Like, no figure, nothing, no figure should cost $100. Like a 6-inch figure that's not like a custom. Like
yeah. I agree,
I will buy,
100%.
I buy people's customs sometimes. You put the work in it that you're paying for that, but a mass produced like that new Marvel Legend that came out, the Phoenix, it's
Mhm.
$50.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
and it's really just, I mean, $25 for the figure and $25 for like a fire effect of the Phoenix. I don't
Bro,
really.
Diamond Select does those fire effects, and they're
Yeah,
$20 cheaper. You know what I mean? So
cheaper.
I
Yeah,
don't want when people defend things like the Captain Marvel and the Fantastic Four one have those big fire flame effects, and the figure and accessories and
yeah,
articulation, and they're $25-$30. So I don't know.
yeah.
People, I defend things when I feel that way, and I also that's why people like it's hard to pin me down because people are like, oh, yeah, this Deadpool Hasbro did amazing, right? But then, that figure looks great, but it shouldn't be $50. It shouldn't even
No
be
way.
$35.
Yeah, no.
It's
No.
like they keep inching more and more, and people are just okay with it, and I'm not.
It's bullshit. I even noticed, like sometimes even like for instance, the Thor Destroyer 2 pack was $80, and I felt like that was bullshit, and it came down, and it wound up at Ollie's because everybody was like, "That's
Yeah,
two figures for $80." It's fucking crazy, man.
wait, that was $80 when that came.
It was
Oh,
eighty
if I was
dollars when it first came
videos, I
out.
would
Yeah,
have. No wonder. Yeah, it's at Ollie's for $20
yeah,
now.
yeah. It was the same thing with the fucking the Hawkeye Sky Cycle. Like it's cool, but $60. I mean, like
Nobody likes Hawkeye that much.
that's
sixty
what I'm
dollars.
saying. Like it's
Yeah,
you can't you can't try to sell me chicken shit and tell me it's chicken salad. Like it just doesn't matter. Like even like this guy, the Adaptoid, he was like 70
yeah.
bucks. No one bought him. He dropped down to 20 because like it's like fuck you, man. I know he's 12 inches. He's a big figure. He's cool, but
And
like
that's the thing too is I first of all I saw that at Ollie's and I
yeah,
passed on him because first of all I don't know who that is. Just first of
yeah,
all, and then second of all, the fact that you can't see him and see how big he is, I think that was a factor because if
yeah,
I knew he was big, like that's a cool looking figure. I don't even know
yeah,
who it
yeah.
is, but it's cool. Maybe I
Yeah,
would
well,
have picked it up.
that's what happened while I was on. I because I do my live streams on Sunday, and Sunday
Hmm.
I was opening them up, and nobody, like all the people in the chat were like, I didn't know he was 12 inches big. I didn't know he was like a one scale. I was like, I didn't know it neither. I ordered him because he was clearanced on Big Bad Toys at the time. He came in the mail, and I was even shocked to see how like the fact that he was a 12-inch figure, and then I saw a month and a half later, he goes on the outlet on Pulse,
Yeah.
drops down to $25 on there, and
Oh,
then a month later, he winds up $20 at Ollie's. It's just like it's crazy to me. Like when it comes to certain figures, you'll get me if you like if it's like a deluxe, it has hands, heads, a ton of accessories. Like all right, now you kind of like sweetening the pot. You'll
yeah.
sell me on it. Like, all right, maybe I'll get it, or maybe I won't. Like, but like when you just kind of like, oh, look at this flame effect. I think that's why that car failed. Like that car, they wanted
Oh,
350
well,
fucking dollars, and all it did was it had flames. Like I
yeah.
just didn't
And
see it.
first of all, no one care. Most people don't care about that character too.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think a lot of people don't like that character. He was not really his comics never really did well. Any like
yeah,
he was not on paper never popular. Some people might
yeah,
love him, right? That's fine. I'm not saying if you like him, you like him, but
yeah, yeah,
that was not something that people wanted. Like everyone wants a Sentinel, everyone wants Galactus. You
yeah.
know, people, Giant Man, whatever. He's cool, but no one. Do you like him $300 much? But
That's
I
exactly.
think
I
their
think he was.
their pricing is ridiculous, though. That
Yeah,
their
it's
pricing
crazy.
is ridiculous for
Yeah.
figures.
Well, that's why the Giant Man funded, but they didn't get all the tiers because people are like, well, why are we gonna buy this for a couple extra faces? Like, who gives a
Yeah,
shit?
and the tiers suck too. Like
Yeah,
people want extra. The whole thing of crowdfunding is when something does well, you give back because you're like, oh, we funded this. This is great, and now we could give back to you guys. Thank you for being awesome, right?
Yeah.
Not like we're gonna extort you. Hasbro basically extorts you to finish a figure, and then like guilt you into it. Like I remember when the Rancor didn't fund, the team kind of was like almost shaming people. And I remember that I wasn't making videos as like news videos like I was. I would have been all over that. I remember saying it in live streams or something, but they were, and it's like, no, you said here's a bone that anyone could 3D print for a cent, and here's a cardboard cutout. Like
Yeah.
cardboard should have been that should have been in the box and no one never mentioned, you know?
Yeah, facts.
Like
Yeah.
the Galactus and the Sentinel had like what Galactus had like 7 figures it came with.
Galactus came with a bunch. So did I got the Sentinel. The Sentinel came with a bunch of awesome action figures. The
I if I
Sentinel,
would Yeah, I would have bought a Sentinel if I
oh,
was
the Sentinel
like
was
if it was
sick. The
right now. They should re-release it, honestly.
Yeah, my only complaint about the Sentinel was, and everybody had this. You had to literally tighten the knee joints yourself with a screwdriver because he wouldn't stand unless you did that. That
There's
was the
no
only
excuse
complaint.
for that. Hasbro
Yeah,
knows exactly what they're doing. Like Hasbro's the
yeah,
biggest toy company in the world. You should
yeah.
never give them any leeway. That's how I feel. Like
That's
same
true.
with
No, you're right.
Disney. You know, like it's the top of. It's not like Joe Schmo in his garage. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
biggest toy company. They should never make mistakes, in my
And
opinion.
they constantly do. They did it again now with the Rattler. Everybody's complaining about the patches. You seen that?
That was funny, dude. I was because I'm into Joe's, right? Like, so I could
Yeah,
jump in. The patches offended me so much that I was like, I'm not backing this, like on
yeah,
principle. I was just like, no, I'm
yeah.
not. Hasbro shouldn't. They shouldn't
I
be getting this right now. Like,
I got mad because to me it's like my only issue is, and don't get me wrong, I listen. I backed it because I want the plane. I like it was one of those things for me. It was like, all right, I just want. I don't care about all the tiers. Like I'm not like all
mhm.
those like everybody else who
The
really
Baroness
wants
was
every.
cool though.
It is, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I want the plane because it'll just
Mhm,
be in my head. I'm already seeing the pictures and everything like that.
mhm.
But my big thing was you didn't even give us the dragonfly yet. Like we didn't get the helicopter yet, and now you want
Oh,
more money for a plane.
so that
Now
was their
when's that
last
gonna?
one. The last
Yeah,
one was okay.
the helicopter, and
Yeah.
they pushed that back to December, and it's just like
You
now,
know
and
what's
now you're
funny though
asking,
is they could make this stuff this month. That's the
yeah,
problem.
yeah,
You know, they put that money in a high interest loan, high interest bank, and you know I know how it works. I'm in
mhm,
business, like I do stuff, and it's like they're making it so many different ways. They don't have any. They're not going to make any overstock that is going to sit somewhere, right? So it's
yeah,
going to go all right directly out to people. They don't have to pay for the storage, right? Like when the shipping, all this stuff, they're gonna put the stuff into the thing and it's gonna go out eventually. But
yeah,
and the and that's something too that held me back from all those other things is like I almost can't crowd fund to the biggest toy company globally in the world. Like it hurts me. I'm like
yeah,
they're asking me for my money. You know, when Shartimus wants to make his toy line, I was like I wanted to back it just because I like him and I was like I
mhm,
want to see someone in the toy community achieve something and make something,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
And he deserves your money if you know and he's going to do something cool. Like that's cool. Fund a creator trying to create something. Hasbro does not need our money. And
yeah,
you go look at Barbie dream houses and like the Imagine X toys. Those Imagine X toys, they have like the full size Power Ranger thing. Those things are like $20, you know?
yeah,
So
they are.
I don't when people go, but the plastic costs money. It's like you know nothing about anything. Like
Yeah, I never
Hasbro's
understood that argument.
yeah, I don't like when people defend corporations
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
You know,
I
like
it's one of those things to me. It's like I don't. I never defend any, especially like you said, the big corporation. I always believe that you could probably put this shit on the shelf. People would buy it. And like you don't have to put all like everybody always says, you don't have to put lights in it. Like we don't need lights. Like for instance, I bought a Spin Master Batwing. It
okay.
was it was $40. It was on
Well,
sale
that
at
used
Target.
one. That
Yeah, it was
used
on
one. Yeah,
sale.
yeah,
It was on sale at Target for like I think 20 something because like it was like getting clearanced out. I
yeah,
grab it,
yeah,
I customize it, and now like I didn't have to go spend $250 on the McFarlane one, which only has one seat. And in the film that it's based on, it
Yeah.
seats 3 people. You know, to
Hmm.
me, it's like if I'm gonna spend all this money, at least give me what I saw in the fucking movie. Don't just
Yeah.
give me, oh, look at this Batwing. It only has 1 seat, but it scales to my toys. That's to me, it's like, come on, bud. Like I made one that's a little bit smaller than yours. If I can fit 2 people in my ship, like
Hmm.
that's when I'm like, I can't. I can't, and the only reason I backed the Rattler again because I wanted another plane, and I thought to myself like, well, if in September I change my mind, I can at least say, just cancel
Well,
it.
it's
Don't.
cool. I'm not. Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's the thing is
yeah.
like, Hasbro should be putting this stuff out for the GI Joe
On shelf,
fans,
yeah, I think, yeah, yeah,
but it should be, yeah. Like, think of how big the line would be, right? Imagine that was on
yeah.
the shelf at Target. That could be on the shelf at Target for $150, and everyone would buy it. It would be so great and big.
Oh yeah,
There's
oh
no
yeah,
need for that to be. First of all, it's not $300. It's never going to be $300. The way they make those toys, I bet you look up a Hasbro compare it to a non-adult toy line, some kid toy line made by Hasbro, and they make those big play sets. They do all this stuff. It's just
yeah,
it's a big joke, but and it's just like I don't like it feels icky. Like I
mhm,
feel like they're tricking me, and I don't want to play
yeah,
along. You know,
yeah,
but it's cool. Like they should be making this stuff. They put out a full Eternals wave. I always say this, and I will never stop. So the Eternals, a movie no one asked for,
yeah,
but it had a lot of people with different skin color. So that's awesome. Are they
yeah,
interesting? No, but they are diverse. So it's amazing. And so they put out a full toy line with like I think they're one of the biggest waves I've ever seen. Like there were 7 characters. Then they did the deluxe, that Venom looking creature. Then they did like a
yeah.
few exclusives. They did Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek. They made 100 figures for that movie that 2 people went to go see. And if you ever talk to someone and someone tries to defend it for some reason, they're like, it wasn't that bad. When you have to defend a movie by saying it wasn't that bad, just
Is that
stop.
bad? Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, what's not that bad? You know, getting in a car accident and not dying, and then you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad. I didn't die. You
yeah,
still were in a car accident, and it
accident,
sucks.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
but so they made a full wave of that figure, right? It was early up on the shelves, and they had full waves. Like if you go back on any Toy Hunters videos, they were fully stocked every store, Target, Walmart. The biggest movie of all time, in my opinion, was the Spider-Man movie, right? Like if you
okay,
look
yeah,
at think of normies, right? Think of normies. Like,
yeah,
wait, you're taking Spider-Man when I was a kid was in this is going to be in this movie? Like every generation of Spider-Man are going to be in this movie? Why there should have been a whole aisle of toys, a
yeah,
whole aisle of toys. We need a comic Spider-Man, movie Spider-Man, a whole toy line of the Raimi, a whole Andrew Garfield toy line. All figures should have been on the shelf before the movie came out, while the
yeah,
movie was out, while the DVD came out. We got 2 years later, I think, a half of a wave, and no ever mentions of ever finishing it.
yeah.
Then you're like, okay, whatever. At least we got a Raimi Spider-Man in a 3-pack, and then we got his heads in a year later. Then they made Deadpool and Wolverine. Literally, I think it's officially the biggest rated R movie ever made.
I
It's
think so.
breaking
Yeah, yeah,
every time I go into Twitter, it's breaking another box office
yeah.
hit. You cannot buy anything related in any way to any of the people in that movie. It is sickening. It is.
That's crazy.
I paid double retail for this figure so I can make a video about it. Like you, these companies want no money. I just
Yeah,
don't understand it, dude. I don't.
yeah.
You're telling me Hasbro heard Wolverine and Deadpool are making a movie, and none of them said, you know what, we should make some figures of that.
Dude, I'll tell you this: you make a Wesley Snipes Blade figure.
Done. At least 2 of them.
Yeah,
Done.
for real. I when I saw like, and obviously people have got enough time to see the movie, so we spoil it with the people in the movie. That's I don't
No,
know what to tell you.
they're putting it out like online.
Yeah,
They're in the commercials now. They're
yeah.
posting behind the scene. It's over. Yeah, if you didn't
The
see it,
fact that
if you didn't, yeah.
the fact that like when you rolled out that half-ass, was it like just three different? Was it a Wolverine, a Deadpool, and another Wolverine figure? That's what
Yeah,
you
a
rolled out as a pre-order.
loser
But
Wolverine. I'm gonna name that
yeah,
one. The loser
a-
Wolverine
and
and his
and
and his yeah.
dude, when I saw that Wolverine, all I thought immediately was like, "Wow, I'll just pop the head off and use it for fodder." Like, and now like, at that point, I'm
Not
like, I don't
even
need that
because
figure.
he's got blue shoes on. It looks like a clown, and that's the
Yeah,
ugliest civilian outfit I've ever seen. You know,
yeah,
like they
yeah,
think
yeah.
Headpool is gonna Headpool's in the movie for not even a second. You think you're gonna like sell a whole figure for Headpool? Like,
For
who
Headpool, yeah,
cares? Yeah, no, no, no.
yeah,
Dude, at least we knew that that bald girl was the villain. She should have been in that lineup. If you're gonna do
yeah,
just one
100%.
wave, you know,
Yeah,
like she was that good of a character. I actually want her. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I want. Yeah.
Do you think they would? Do you think they were reluctant because they were like, I don't know if anybody's going to remember these characters like Elektra and Blade and no one, no, like the Gambit. I mean, Channing Tatum's Gambit never even materialized into anything. I mean, I don't know if maybe they thought, let's see how the movie does before we decide to pull the trigger on like this next couple of figures, which will be like Elektra, Blade, and Gambit, or
Well then,
what's her face, X-23.
so well, first of all, we should have had an X-23 anyway. They even made
Yeah,
Logan
yeah,
figures not that long ago. Like
yeah,
we should have had her already, right?
yeah, yeah. I
Now
agree.
I know they showed a few characters in the trailer. We should have had at least every character in the trailer. You know, like
Yeah,
if you're going to do that, right? So I know they don't want to spoil things. I get it. But also, they should have stuff ready, right? Like the movie's out now. They announce right while the movie's announced, like, we didn't want to spoil it. We have a whole wave coming soon. You know, like we're
yeah,
working on this wave. No word of it at Comic Con. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's just totally fumbled. Like, who's the people that are at Hasbro? Their priorities are wrong because you know when the Marvels came out, that had like two waves of garbage figures that are at every
Maybe,
clearance bin. You know, that
yeah.
America Chavez character, nobody wanted her. You can't even, she's $2 at the clearance outlet turn 7. $2, people don't even buy her. The Eternals wave, you can't even give those away. You can't even use them
Mm.
for customs.
No,
You know,
yeah,
like, like you can't even fodder them out because they're in ugly outfits. And
yeah.
it's just like, I just like, you know, people like lie, right? People lie about stuff, and it's just like I don't lie, and I'm gonna
Mm.
always just use my platform to say my opinion. It's like I don't care if you loved the Eternals, like that movie was not a hit. It wasn't what people wanted. It
No, it was
never
dog
needed a
shit.
full toy line, and it's
Yeah,
like the people at Hasbro were all in on that wave, but where's Spider-Man? Where's the Deadpool Wolverine? Even the no, Captain America, that No Way Home or No World Order, whatever. They keep
yeah,
changing it.
whatever.
Is it even a movie if it changed 100 times since you announced it? Like
I don't know. I think it's doomed from the start. No pun
it
intended. I
looks,
know that's the new bad guy.
it just looks so it looks so boring. And that's
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think what people don't understand is right now, especially what I liked about Deadpool and Wolverine was everyone looked like they were having fun in the movie. You know, like I don't think Wolverine was ever into it this much. Like I feel like Hugh Jackman was actually finally going like, I'm gonna have fun with this.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't know. I just got that vibe, and like
He
with
probably
the
is probably just the set. I mean, you're on set with Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy. Sean Levy's directing it, and it's like
yeah
a kind of like just a party essentially, not work.
yeah
So when you come to work, you're not coming to work with any stress. Not to mention Hugh Jackman has basically played Wolverine for 24 years. So
yeah
it's like he knows the character inside and out. So it's not like he's jumping into something new and he's got to really sink his teeth into it. Same thing with Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds has played Deadpool for 7 years or whatever it is. It was
yeah
probably easy for him. Like you said, it was easy to have fun because you know the character. The director's not a hard ass. They got pretty much the
yeah.
outline of how they want it. They're bringing in all these amazing cameos that they didn't even expect. And here's the thing to me, like the cameos were like actually like man, when I heard Blade,
Yeah.
I'm a huge Blade fan. I mean that was my as a
Were
in
you
the '98.
spoiled? Were you
What do you mean?
spoiled before you went in there? Like, did you knew about the cameos before you went
I
in?
did not know about anything else other than the fact that Wolverine and the Hulk fight. That's all I really knew, that they were gonna show or make a mention to
Oh,
that.
you heard
In
so
terms
you actually heard, like, a rumor like that? Because I
Yeah.
didn't hear anything when before the
Yeah,
mo
yeah.
so I went in totally blind. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't
Interesting.
until, like, it debuted, and then all of a sudden I'm hearing people say, "Gambit's in it, it's Channing Tatum," and I'm like, "What?" You know, and they're like,
Mm,
"Oh, this Wesley fucking Snipes Blade," and I'm like,
yeah.
"Whoa, okay, now you got my attention." Because to me, and I said this multiple times, once Endgame ended and you killed
It
my
was over.
favorite guy, you killed
Mhm,
Tony Stark, who's my favorite guy. You made Captain
mhm,
America an old man. He was another one of my favorites, and you sent
yeah,
Thor away. I was just kind of like, wake me up when the X-Men show up. That's literally what
mhm,
I said. You just wake me up when Wolverine is in the suit. And then
yeah,
the first image I see of Deadpool is him in the suit. Now I'm
yeah.
like, okay, now you have my attention, because anything else that came out after Endgame, I literally didn't
Trash.
give two shits, didn't watch, didn't care. I, like you said, you see the toy lines, they didn't succeed because, and I've said this multiple times, no one gives a fuck about fourth rate, third rate characters. No one cares. They want the main event guys. They don't
And
want the
not even
jobbers.
that, it's so Marvel wants certain characters to succeed, and they don't want other characters to succeed.
Yeah,
Like, how do you fumble a Blade movie with an Emmy award or Grammy or whatever he does, award
Oscar,
winner, right?
Oscar.
Oscar,
Yeah,
yeah, Grammy, he
yeah.
sings. So, you know how you fumble that? When the script says you push aside old dumb Blade for his cool hip daughter to be
Yeah,
hitting the bad guys up. You know, like
yeah,
they don't want money. They think they're so big they can't fail. So they're like,
yeah.
here's Eternals. Here's the Captain Marvel. Nobody needed two Captain Marvel movie. You know, like
No,
superheroes are for boys that are stupid. We are stupid. We like dumb, stupid, heroic. You know, like you want to see the bad guy get beat up by the
yeah.
good guy, and then and for they want girls so badly. The girls that there are girls who like the stuff the way it is. You don't have to cater to them because when you cater to
Um,
one thing, you lose the other people.
the
It's like
other,
Star
yeah,
Wars is completely lost. All I
yeah.
wanted to see and why I think Deadpool and Wolverine got me was it's freaking Wolverine in his costume,
Hell
Deadpool
yeah,
in his costume, and they're just having fun. First of all, they're dancing, they're like there's jokes. There it's not like like people put Logan up on this pedestal. When I left that
I
movie, I
don't
was
get
like
it.
I'm like what
Yeah,
what did I just sit through? Like
yeah,
heroin?
yeah,
You know like
yeah. When I walked
just
out of that
something
movie, I said, when I walked out of Logan, I said, it's a sad movie, but it didn't have to be Logan. You could have changed his name, and it could have been
it
like
probably
old
wasn't.
military guy. That's what I'm saying.
It
Like I
probably
just was,
wasn't. Yeah.
yeah. When I watched Logan, I was like, why? I was like, I know he's old. I know you
The
may not
guy
want to
who
do the
doesn't
character.
die,
Yeah, that's what
you
I'm
know,
saying.
like
You killed the guy who doesn't die. Yeah,
you know, like he
and the way
just
they killed
chose
him.
to die. It was like, I'm just choosing to like it was so dumb. And then they didn't even get
Yeah,
Sabretooth. They had like
yeah,
Wolverine that looks like Saber. Like it was just the dumbest thing ever. That
yeah,
movie's held just because something's sad. I always say this, it's like Oscar bait. And I watch, dude, trust me, I watch indie artsy fartsy movies. Like I'm that
yeah,
hipster guy.
yeah,
Logan was cosplaying as a real movie. Like you they try it was just sad and like dumb for no reason. It didn't need to be.
yeah.
I love that this movie crapped all over it. Like I honestly, I think all that stuff. It was really because I know even people like people that I know personally were like are mad at Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm like, dude, it was I just had so much fun, dude. I'm
Fun. Yeah,
really it's just fun. That's all
yeah,
I care about.
yeah.
Like I saw superheroes. I saw my childhood Wolverine in in the colors, and I was just like, "This is it. This is cool." Like
Did it?
when it comes
Did it?
to superhero films, I'm not expecting much.
Yeah. Did it make you want an X-Men movie?
No, because I know they're gonna not do it well.
Not
You
gonna
know,
do
like
well. Yeah,
they want. You know who they want? They want the binary. That girl. That they want like they'll have Jean Grey, ugly, bossing around like they do not want what we want. The people who are making the movies, Disney has like they want a certain thing. They want girls to like all this stuff. They want, they don't that's why they make fun of all the, if Marvel made this movie, they would have crapped on Blade. They would have made him trip
mhm.
or his pants would have ripped. Like this movie actually made Elektra look like a real hero. You know, like they made
Mhm.
these characters look awesome, and then they didn't die at the end. You know, like we
Yeah.
would have saw, you know, like what they did to Luke Skywalker. He would have been drinking a boob with like a slob. They would have gave Blade like a fat belly. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like Channing Tatum would have like got his head chopped off, and like they would have made a joke that he's a loser. And it's just
Yeah.
like that's the people that are making stuff that we love hate us right now. And it's sad, but I hope that Deadpool and Wolverine and money change that, because that's the only
Uh,
way it's going to change, money, you know?
everybody knows the money talks, brother. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
the thing with me is, I always said, and because I could be in the minority, I don't care what you, if you're going to change a character, you should
Yeah.
change it subtly. You don't have to make a big fucking stink about it and say, "Oh, look what we did here. It's now a girl, or it's now this, or it's that, it's whatever." Like, just subtly do it and make sure that the writing and the story is good, and then we will buy it. We'll kind of buy into it, and we'll suspend the
That's
disbelief
why
enough.
they do it though. They
Yeah,
do things now just to annoy fans because they
that's
hate
what it
that
seems like.
we.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true, man. It's
yeah.
if you ever look into, you know, I'm on Twitter too much, but if you ever look into the people that are actually making these
The
things,
stuff.
they
Yeah, no,
flat
yeah,
out tell you they hate
mm,
you, you know? So
yeah,
that's why, like, you know, I can't watch anything Disney. I can't watch anything, you know, the Spider-Verse movies were pretty good because they were Fox or
yeah.
Sony, you
Sony.
know,
Yeah,
and like, and even though they're riddled with like a little cringy things, they're meant for kids. Kids are
yeah,
cringy, and that's what's popular. So, you know,
yeah,
they're doing that in that money making way. It makes sense. It's fine. Yeah, like,
yeah.
you know, that's the thing. Like, Spider Man is Peter Parker to me, but Miles Morales grew on me because the Spider Verse movies actually gave him a story, right? He's not just,
Mm,
we want a black Spider Man, so we're going to have Miles Morales and push him in your face, because that's how they've been doing him for a few years. But then, you know, the Spider Verse movies were actually pretty good. I watched them late, but you know, they made you like him and his
yeah,
family, and you were like, okay, he's a character now. You know,
yeah.
why is Falcon Captain America? Because they wanted black Captain America. And it's like, can that work? Yes. But Bucky was, if you watch the movies, Bucky was the obvious choice for that role. You know, like
That's the
Bucky
problem
was
because
cool.
in the comics, both of them at some point become
Eventually,
Captain America. Both of them, yes,
eventually, but like in
yeah.
the
But
movie verse,
I see what you're talking
yeah,
about. Everybody wanted Bucky because it seemed like Bucky was being groomed in a sense.
yes, it went
Yeah,
there. Like you're a
yeah,
storyteller, right? So the
yeah,
story went there. Him just giving it to this guy that he just met, you know,
mhm,
in a few movies ago, and never
yeah,
really like we don't really see them
yeah.
bond.
See,
I like
now
Falcon. It
here's the
was, you
writer
know,
in me. Here's the writer in me. I'm playing fantasy
yeah.
booker with you right now. All right.
Okay, let's
This
do
is
it.
how this is how I would have done it. Whereas Cap should have handed off the shield to Bucky, right? Then Bucky would have been Captain America for a little bit,
A little
and
while.
then
Yeah.
yeah, and then because because they're going to do the Thunderbolts and he's got to go
Mhm.
undercover with the Thunderbolts, he should have then handed the shield off to Sam Wilson, and been like, "This is a mantle that you have to don now because I have to go and do
Yeah,
some dark
I'm
shit."
not worthy or something, or he
Yeah,
dies, right? Or we
yeah,
think he dies. We think
yeah,
he dies, and he takes it up because then we're with him, right? We're like,
yeah,
oh, now he's making like he's gonna fill in the shoes that he was not meant for, and then we could
yeah.
be on like in his on his side, right? If
Mm.
you, I didn't watch the show, but I saw a clip like in that Captain America, the
The
Falcon
TV show,
Captain
yeah,
show,
yeah,
he literally looks at the camera and like does this like really cringe dialogue of how like, and it's like that's not what I want to see. Superheroes beating people up. I don't want commentary. I don't
yeah,
want, you know, like I don't want even stories. The people were like
yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine had no story. I think that's why I liked it a little bit, you know, like it was it was like a buddy cop movie. Like they had point A, point B,
Yeah.
and they got there, you know. And so I I I don't know. I wonder where we're gonna go from this, but that new movie
Deadpool,
I
I mean,
want.
listen, Deadpool, listen, Deadpool showed you that the formula still works. Buddy
Mhm.
cop movies, they always work. They always
Yeah,
work. And here's the thing: when it comes to that kind of stuff, until money talks, which I think it just did with Deadpool, I think
I
they
hope
won't
so.
make it. And now, because like I think I'm right now. Listen, this is all speculation. I'm like you. I read too much internet sometimes too, and I'm like, well, this could be true. This could be. But I already saw that they quietly started to cancel like the next Captain Marvel
I
movie.
saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just slowly starting to be like, we're gonna walk this back quietly, so because we don't
Mhm.
want to look like fucking idiots. So we'll just kind of do one of these out of the room, and just be like, we'll just maybe kind of go back to the old formula. That's why they brought this guy back. It screams desperation. You
Oh
clearly
yeah,
know
yeah,
you
the
fucked. You,
Russos,
you
right?
yeah, yeah, you
Yeah,
clearly know you fucked up. We shouldn't have
yeah,
killed him. We're sorry. Now we're going to
yeah,
start this anchor character thing. Oh, well, every
yeah,
universe needs an anchor character. And what's going to happen? That universe obviously lost its anchor character, and you got to bring in another Tony Stark.
yeah,
And oh no, wait, it's going to be Doctor Doom instead. It's just it's so like obvious, and it's like this.
yeah.
Like to me, like coming from the wrestling game, I know how this works. The rest of the
Yeah,
company is
yeah,
struggling.
we
What
see
do
the
you do?
booking, right? We see
Yeah,
yeah.
you bring in the old veteran. Let's bring in Hogan. Hogan must pose
Brock
for a little bit.
Lesnar's back. Yeah,
Exactly. We'll bring Brock. The people will go nuts. We'll sell SummerSlam as the biggest fight in the
yeah,
summer, right? It's always the same shit. That's what as soon as I see him, dude, it was literally a wrestling thing. He came out, he took the hood
yeah,
off, he revealed the mask, and he was standing there like this.
yeah,
That's a wrestling move. Like, and I was just like,
yeah,
this literally screams like Kevin Feige, whoever the fuck is in charge of
yeah.
Marvel, turn around and going, our bad, we fucked up. We're gonna fix it, or at least try to fix it the best way we
Well,
can.
they see their cash cow
Yeah,
drying up. I mean, they
yeah,
lost big with the Marvels, dude. That movie,
yeah,
you know, no, don't make movies for Twitter because they don't have money and they
yeah,
don't even want to go see your movie. They just want to say, "Oh, there's three women and they're great in their
mm,
film." It's like nobody cares about girl characters when they're actually written well, and that's it.
mhm.
Like all those characters sucked. They were in a movie for no reason because they want them to work,
They
and
wanted
that's
more.
it. And
Yeah,
that's why it's,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like it's
When
nobody
you when you
wants that.
Yeah, when you try to fit a square peg into a round hole, you tend to realize how quickly this shit just doesn't work. And that was the one thing I've noticed recently with a lot. And it's just not superhero movies; it's everything. It trickles
Yeah,
down to
it's
everything.
everything. Yeah.
Everybody's pushing, whether it's an agenda, an idea, whatever they're pushing. It's just one of those things where it's like these
It's so
things are meant
blatant.
to. Yes, these things are meant to entertain us. They're meant to check us out.
Mhm.
We want to watch
Yeah.
and forget about the real world because the real world fucking sucks. So when we watch
Yeah.
these things, we just want to be taken to the universe or whatever it is. So what I started to do, and I tell people this all the time nowadays, is if you don't like the new shit, I guess the old shit will have to do. So I just like
Yeah.
nowadays, like whenever they say, "Oh, look at this movie coming out," I'm good. I'll just go back and watch Keaton's Batman, or I'll just go back and watch
There you go.
Avengers, the first one. I don't like. To me, I'm one of those guys. I'm repetitive. I know
Yeah.
I
I'm
can
good.
watch the
Yeah.
five moves to doom. I can watch the same
Yeah.
ending. Like I'm used to the rest. Like I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So you won't have to piss me off. So I don't mind watching
Well,
reruns.
I always say this to my wife and stuff. It's like
Yeah,
there's so much content that
yeah.
you've there's so many movies just from 1997 that you've
Hmm.
never seen before. You could even just go pick a decade and go through them and you'll never even watch every movie. So, like I don't need to go see a movie. Like if you make they say they want the superhero fatigue. It's like no BS fatigue. We
Yeah,
know when there's a movie people want, and that's the thing. We should be having. There should be a Punisher movie right now out. There
yeah,
should
yeah,
be, there could be a Blade movie right now. Here's a cool guy with a cool outfit and a cool car with weapons killing vampires. That's
yeah.
all you need. I don't need it to be like this deep story and he's hurt and he's
Mm.
he's trying to like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
just get
yeah, yeah,
there.
I get you. Yeah.
Just make
I
some
also
money,
noticed
dude.
they have this shit formula where they bring in an old
Bait and
character from
switch.
the movie.
Bait and
Yeah, they
switch.
bring in the old character from the movie, but it's good. They're handing the mantle off to somebody
Yeah.
younger. The most times nowadays it's female, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like we see through the bullshit now. You got us the
It's
first time with
so
it. Yeah.
it's literally so blatant. Like,
Mhm.
I heard even a little while ago, Hollywood was just taking scripts that were written for men and just putting a woman in it, but not
Yeah,
even
flipping it.
changing
Yeah,
things. It's like that's
yeah.
why everything just feels so.
Forced.
Things feel fake. They feel
Yeah,
fake.
forced.
You could
Yeah, yeah,
sense when something. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
they could make a rogue movie or so, or something like, and
yeah.
people would go see it if it was done right. It's
Right. Yeah,
not the character. It's not women. It's just they're forcing things that they want to work,
yeah,
and it's like people see right through it.
yeah,
It's same with the figures. I always go with Hasbro makes figures that they want to do well, to look
yeah.
good for them, and they're glow. We're green friendly and all this stuff, and we
Mm.
have different color people on our stuff. It's like no, get. get people in there that care about stuff, and you'll be making money. That's everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Once you stop, a company tries to do other things besides want to make the most money. That's a bad thing.
Yeah. Once agendas become the main
Yeah.
focal point of your business model, that's usually it tends to see like kind of like where your mindset is, and you're like, all right, well, I'm
Let's
obviously
make some
out
money.
on this. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it's usually
Like
what it
I
should be
want to
about.
buy toys. Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's talk about that like, before we
Yeah.
put a bow tie on this thing. You have an action figure, and
Yeah.
it's just you have like a whole universe building, right? You're building a whole thing
Yes.
here.
Yes. Where did I just
Let's
put
take
him?
a look
Here
at
he
that.
is. So thank you. Here, hold on. I got my little sign too. Hold on. So System Island Toys.
System Island. Okay. Oh
So
yeah,
this is Goose Faba. And
that's
the
awesome.
body would be comparable to a Gomez, Mezco Gomez
Mezco.
figure.
Okay.
Yeah. It's super articulated. I hand stitch the clothing and everything.
Wow.
I worked with a very nice 3D sculptor on the heads and stuff, and then he scammed me out of $800. So I've been working with other people. See, that's the thing though too with when you work. So what I wanted to do was I tried to give the community, like people in the community,
A
work,
shot.
right? Like
Yeah.
I'm from the toy community. I tried to some people help me out with the spray paint cans, and I
Yeah.
just try to give people work that I see like to be part of the community, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we're
Absolutely.
here, and
Yeah.
it doesn't always work out, but most of the time it worked out. And any business, there's always going to be things. But so this is Goose Faba. He is my graffiti character I created when I was like 13, and I was
Oh,
out
wow.
doing graffiti with my friends. Which I say, bad graffiti's bad, kids. Um, but a few years ago during the coof, I just said, you know what? I have a platform, and people like everything has progressed. So like, there's resin machines and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
3D sculptors are so good now that I said, let's do it. I
Yeah.
think I'm going to do it. 'Cause originally, I made one out of clay. Like I made a Goose Faba head out of clay. It's right over here. Oh, that's my little System Island Grail shelf right here. I got
Okay.
like
Nice.
almost one of everything I made. But
Okay.
I had this one on a on a 12-inch figure just sitting on my shelf forever. Like I just made a little clay thing, and I was
Yeah.
just like, one day that'll be cool. And it just hit me when I was live streaming one day, and I said, I'm gonna do this. And so what I did, what was cool was the people who watch my live streams like got to watch me through the whole process, and I shared everything with them. And I was like, how about this design? And what if we do this? And so it was very organic, and people got to be with me. Like I would say, I gave a little bit of the lore out and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
System Island is the cyberpunk world where they live. It's like a
It is.
city,
Okay.
mechanical
Yeah.
city. So they're basically graffiti artists in a cyberpunk city. Boom.
Okay.
And there's an
Right on.
evil corporation called the Skull Corp, where it's that little skull that's on everything, and they're the evils, and they fight them, and that's it. Keep it simple,
Yeah.
It's not they're not doing graffiti for
Yeah.
economic reasons and like trying to save the world. But
Just
yeah, so
freedom of expression, essentially.
yeah, and I have like this was a random diorama. I collabed with him. He's like a diorama guy that's like really
I
popular.
know Randomly. Yeah, he's a good dude.
I collabed with him on this. He helped me make these. He did the
Okay.
3D sculpting for those. These are
Awesome.
little crates that their spray paint goes in.
Oh,
I
awesome.
have this is called the Sculpt Bot. They're little drones that fly around the city. Obviously, they snitch on the graffiti characters and stuff. Um, and I just have like this whole. I have multiple characters too. And what's cool was, I sold over 100 figures. Like I have the exact number somewhere, but I've sold over 100 figures. And the thing about my figures are because I do everything by hand. They're $135 each. So people,
Yeah.
you're really asking. It's not like I'm asking people like, hey, send $20 my way, and whatever. So the people that support my figures really are supporting in a big way, and it it's amazing. I just to think that we're here, and I have multiple
Yeah.
characters. I have trading cards. I have stickers. Which, by the way, give me your address. I'm going to send you a little package.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
I have just like all this stuff,
Yeah.
pins, stickers, all that. Like it's just pretty cool. Like I have some guy made. Hold on, I first of all, I have a life-size mannequin of Goose Faba.
That's great.
But he's in my other room. This
Yeah.
is Shadow Goose. He's like the, you could do the math. The opposite.
Yeah.
He's the evil
Yeah.
version. And this is one of my channel members, Chooch, very talented guy. He made me a Goose Faba helmet and the Shadow Goose helmet.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
he made himself one, and he was Goose Faba for his birthday, for Halloween one year. So
That's awesome,
it,
dude.
it's just really awesome. And you to create something and then have people dig it as much as I
Yeah.
do, there's really nothing cooler than that.
Dude, that's sick, man. So now do you see it be maybe growing out of just toys, maybe a comic book or like an animated
But
series or something?
an animated series is what I want so bad. Like
Oh, wow. Okay.
I want a video game where he runs around, like picture like a fun run around where you
Yeah.
tag things up, you skateboard, you like uh basically like mix of Tony Hawk, mixed with like he's punching out people and stuff like
Yeah.
they're punks basically, like like Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, new metal
Yeah. Yeah.
punks. That's
Yeah.
what they are, my characters in a
That's pretty
cyberpunk
awesome.
world, basically.
That's
So
pretty awesome, man.
um one day I would like to do a Kickstarter. I would like to raise some money to get like an animated short. And it's like, that's what it's for. It's not for Hasbro crowdfunding.
Yeah.
It's for like me trying to get some money together so I could pay an artist and make something. But I would love a video game, an animated series, and obviously a comic. I actually have a 3-part comic, like partially written, and I have like the outline of it. So
Okay.
we're just getting started. And what
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is, it's like it's pure passion
Yeah.
project. So I don't rush it. Like I don't force it. Like when I have a drop, we put a drop out. Like I don't have like a schedule. It's not like
Mhm.
every week and stuff. So um we might
That's
go like
perfect.
2 months without anything,
Yeah.
and then it drops. So I'm really happy. And we've sold out every single drop that I ever had. So that is a such an accomplishment. Like
Oh, yeah.
and it's also really scary because every drop you get those butterflies where you go,
Yeah.
this is the time. No one's gonna
Yeah.
be here. But people always show out, and I'm just gracious,
Hell
gracious.
yeah, dude. That's awesome. That figure is sick, dude, for real. I like the
Thank you. I appreciate it.
creativity, like the universe. But I'm always about world building. I've done
Yeah.
two of those myself. I have two couple. One is my opus. It's swords and sorcery, kind of like He-Man, because I love He-Man and Conan the
Oh,
Barbarian.
cool.
So it's like that. Yeah, I even made like two short films based on it.
Oh,
Um,
yeah?
yeah. And but it's one of those things where I dream of an
Yeah.
action figure line, a comic book, and the cartoons and stuff like that. I would absolutely love that, man. Just to see like your creation come to fruition, and even if it's
There's
just
nothing
something
better.
as it's immortalized in a toy, and then when you see it, they're staring back at you. It's probably no better feeling of accomplishment, man.
Dude, to log into TikTok or Instagram and you're
Yeah,
tagged in toy photography of your character,
yeah,
like
that's sick.
nothing prepares you for that, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
I'm always surprised. It's so cool, man. Like
yeah.
uh and I hope you the best. And I'm sure like
I appreciate
there's a time, right? Like I created this guy when I was 13, and I
it. Yeah,
just what I think 2022. No, what the where are we? What is yeah,
2024.
are we here?
Yeah,
2022. Wait, it's 2024, right?
yeah. It's 2024.
Yeah, I made him in 2022 into a figure. So like from 2003 to 2022, that's a big gap. So
Yeah, yeah,
it never. I always doodled Goose Faba, like and it never went away from me. So the fact that now he's a character and he's shared with the world, it's freaking awesome. So
that was awesome. That
yeah,
was awesome.
it's never too late to make your own stuff.
Hell yeah, dude. So speaking of that, do you think you'll be collecting action figures forever, or do you see a shelf life on it for you?
Dude, how many times when I was, when I first started, I would sell your collection. Then you get like you would try to get out of it. You never get
Yeah,
out of it. You'll be in the store and you'll be like, oh, that's a cool figure. And so what I just learned to lean into it and just try to be as responsible. There are people who aren't responsible. If you
yeah,
can't be responsible, don't collect. It's like doing drugs. Like if you can't Yeah, I don't believe in drugs. I don't like, but I don't judge people. But there's some guys who could, light up a joint
Yeah,
after work every day and be fine. But there's some people who they can't do anything. So it's
they can't
like,
do anything. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
can you collect a few figures and be good? Yeah, but make sure your bills are paid. I
yeah.
see people making bad decisions, and I'm just like, I can't. Family first, bills first, all that stuff. So that's
Stuff.
that's
Yeah.
where I'm at. I think
Sometimes
I'll
I see
be.
people. I think I'm gonna be collected forever too. I sometimes I see guys, and I agree with what you just said, where the money goes to the wrong thing. It
Yeah.
doesn't go to where it should be going. It goes to your hobby, and
Well, and that's
that's
where
a
you get
slippery slope.
scammers. That's
Yeah,
where you get shady people and stuff. That's why I got off of Facebook. Too many
yeah,
scammers, dude. And
yeah,
now
yeah,
I really don't even talk to people really anymore, which is sad because my time is valuable, and
yeah.
I would chop it up with everybody, and I would give my time a lot to people, and I got taken advantage of a ton of time. People just did some weird stuff. A lot of people, I don't like to think of it like this, but I am kind of like a name in the toy
Yeah, oh,
community,
yeah,
and
yeah.
people I've learned just were talking to me to kind of get a rub and try to get, like a promotion and stuff, which was fine
Mhm.
if they just would have been front with me. Like
Yeah, yeah.
people that didn't like me would try to be my friend and all.
Mhm.
It's weird, dude. I'm telling you, it's weird stuff. Like the internet is weird, but that's why now
Yeah,
I'm kind of like I don't really socialize much. I found you and that group of guys that they all seemed pretty chill.
yeah, yeah.
I hope everyone's good. But I wanted to say I would like to invite you on my stream one day too. So
Hell
we'll
yeah,
we'll talk offline. But
yeah,
I
hell
would
yeah,
like to have you as a guest.
hell yeah. I can vouch for the boys at the Mega Powers. They're awesome, all three of them.
Well, they seemed chill. That's
Yeah,
why I sometimes I'll pop into a live stream, and
yeah,
if like that's why I like Laser Pants with the 3POA. They
yeah,
seem
yeah,
like
yeah,
they're all genuine
yeah.
guys, and like
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of snakes and a lot of creepy people
Oh
in the
yeah,
toy community,
oh
and I'm
yeah,
like, I don't want any I don't want any
man.
like point of so
Dude,
the
when I started my thing, my big thing was no drama. I don't want no bullshit. I come
mm,
from the wrestling game where that is all it is. When you're in the
well
locker room with the boys, it's all everybody's trying to fuck each other over
yeah
because they all want that spot. And it's like I don't have time for that bullshit. I'm too old. So when I came
well
here and I started to see, who like there's one gentleman that I always talk to. His name is Woody. Shout out to Woody. You're the man. He always says real recognizes real. And that's the one thing I notice. I tend to gravitate to the people I see don't
mm,
don't bullshit. They don't fuck around. They call what they see, and that's kind of like what I like. Cause I'm the same way. I call
yeah
shit for what it is. I take things at
yeah
face value. I do not fuck around. I don't have time to fuck around. I got too much shit in my
yeah.
life, so I don't have time for like all this other
I think it's
bullshit.
because you're Italian. I
Oh
think
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah.
really got a small BS meter when you're Italian. You
Oh,
you
big
can't
time.
even. I found that a lot of Italian people, because we're so emotional, you really can't
Mhm.
be phony. It's
No,
hard to be phony. And
no.
listen. I try to get along. That's the thing is
Mhm.
sometimes I'll try. I'll be like, all right, let me try to be like not. I don't want to say phony because I don't want never phony, but like I'll try to play along and I'll try to be
Mhm.
friendly with people, and I'm just like I can't do it. I always got it like my personality will always come through, and I just can't play well. Like if you're gonna
Yeah.
be a weirdo, it's like you're just a weirdo. I don't even want to be around you. I don't need anyone's rub or anything. You know what I
Nah,
mean?
yeah.
I want to chop it up with people and make some entertaining live streams, or like
Hell yeah.
or even just have some fun talks. And it's like a lot of people, I don't know, a lot of people are like are in this for different things. And I think it's like
I
anyone who's
you
like trying to be famous, like I just can't,
That's
like
one
I
thing
don't
that
know.
you pick up on that real quick, and that's one thing I
Yeah,
noticed. You pick up on the ones that are here to kinda just be like like you said, a
yeah,
star or whatever the fuck case. I
yeah, yeah,
like here's the thing too, like, and we'll like I said, put a bow tie on this right now.
yeah,
When it comes to this, it's gotta be for the love of the game. It's not
yeah,
you're not doing this because you're trying to swindle people out of cash. It's they're investing in you because they believe in what you're selling. They believe in
yeah,
you. And to me, that's really what matters. So as long as you're
yeah,
you and unapologetic and unequivocally you, they gravitate to that and they're like, I like the cut of this guy's jib because he doesn't pull no fucking punches. He's real.
yeah,
He tells shit like it is. And you know what? That's a person's opinion who I can trust. So if I'm gonna go to a guy like this for a review, I trust his opinion because he doesn't bullshit. He doesn't lie. He doesn't fucking put on a fake front and sugarcoat stuff because he wants free shit from some company or somebody. Like
Yeah.
that's to me, that's the ones I gravitate to all the time. And like I said,
Well,
you're
yeah.
one of those people. I always have you always
Well,
watching your shit, dude.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Well, it's
yeah,
like if I'm gonna if I can't give my opinion on my channel,
yeah,
and be honest, it's like, what are we doing this for? Like
yeah, yeah.
you sometimes you do watch somebody and it's like, okay, so some people are just unboxers and then some
Mhm,
people are toy reviewers or
mhm.
and you got to be critical because if you're going to sugarcoat things because you might get some. And listen, Hasbro ain't sending things out to people. Like, and even if they are, which I got a bunch of packages from Hasbro, and I'm always 100% honest, even while I'm
Yeah.
unboxing their stuff. So, you know, don't be kissing ass thinking you're going to
Oh
be
yeah.
getting some stuff. Be you,
It's a waste
because
of
the
time.
people that are watching are worth more than anything you're going to get. It's like, what are
100%.
you doing? So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just if you and with live streams are good too because it's hard to be phony on a live stream for a long
Facts.
time. You
Facts.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
100%,
really
dude.
have
But
to see
perfect.
somebody.
Yeah, perfect way to wrap this up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you
Yeah.
haven't heard of this gentleman, you need to go check him out over at Rocco the Great on TikTok and YouTube. On and Instagram, it's Rocco the Great Art. He's also, like I said, I don't know if he's building dioramas anymore, but his diorama channel is Dioramas by Rocco the Great. There was some
Mhm.
great stuff. The cobblestone floor, dude, you blew
Yeah.
my mind.
That's
I'm definitely gonna take that from you. And
definitely, definitely.
the dude, the cutting of the basket to make the dojo, I was like, fucking brilliant, dude, because I'm getting sick and tired of gluing all kinds of shit together. So it was a
Oh
brilliant
yeah, that thing. So
fucking
I
work.
still have my dojo. It's great.
Dude, great stuff, man. Like I said, guys, check him out over at Rocco the Great. Like and subscribe to Legend Series. I appreciate everybody who comes through. I appreciate all the channel members. Definitely give me if you sign up to the channel membership, you get a bunch of extra stuff. I promise, it's already there. And I'm assuming Rocco gives you a bunch of great extra content on his channel membership as well. That being said, I
Always
am Tony.
support me. Yeah, always
Yeah,
support YouTubers you like, because if you're not supporting them, then people don't understand. Every YouTuber is like one day away from quitting. So just support them. If you're watching this right now, give him a like.
I
Sign up to
appreciate
the
it.
channel member. The least you could do is like and comment on this. So I
Hell
just
yeah.
have to always. You need to support the YouTubers you like, or else they could be done tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got to get that out anytime I
Ladies
can.
and gentlemen, words of wisdom to live by. That's Rocco. I'm Tony. This has been Tony Talking Figures. Keep playing, everybody.